Okie dokie. And away we go. This little mess here is my starter village, where it all began. And then I decided I wanted to make Subnautica in Minecraft. How about this? Lovely place. Bedroom here with some windows to look out. This is mostly just a test today. That's something I should do. I suppose I should put in description. I'm still not sure if YouTube's working very well or not. It says somebody's watching, but it could just be me for all I know. There's my aquarium I built in here. It's got a whole bunch of little, I don't know why, they just like this corner. There's like 12 fish all crammed into that corner for some odd reason. Guess the aquarium's too small for them. Probably should pull the EXP off that. But, oh, that's what I was going to show you. I don't have my map room. So this is where I am currently. There's my where's it? Oh, right here's the starting village. Here's where I am. Here's where I got a couple other projects going. As you can see, I explored a fair bit here, but I've got a lot more to explore and to do. Swing down the stairs. Here's my moon pool. So as you can see, I'm underwater on all sides. Need to put more sepicles out there for lighting. It's too dark. First, jump on the ladder. A nice ravine below, which is pretty cool. I'll set up to hold a vehicle if only we had underwater vehicles. And we'll control down here. And underwater observatory. It's bigger than I wanted, but to get anything that looks remotely sphere-ish, you had to go this big. From here, you can see in the distance there, I've got a couple structures going. Come on, you. Let me swim. This thing here is kind of a failed experiment caused by a bug. Despite the fact that there's like 4 layers on top of here, the light level in here is way too high. I mean, I can literally block that off and daylight still shows up in here. It's messed up. So can't grow mushrooms, can't create spawn mobs or anything else. And this is just a crude villager breeder that happens to also produce iron. And the window there, I go in, feed them, they pop out the villagers here, I throw them on a rail, away they go. That's just a crude little, what do you call this, vine breeding center, so I can get vines to make stuff. This guy is to turn my, my villagers into zombie villagers, who I then cure to get better trades. Got a bunch of crap in here. And I threw a little bit of farm there when I first started this, just so I could feed the villagers. And here's my front door. It's interesting that the mobs can't cross rails. They just refuse to, or they try to look around it. Front door, it's still under construction, so the whole thing's visible here. I need to wall the top half of that off, and you can see all the gray lines here where walls are going to be for other structures. So this is a couple of villager trading halls. They're nothing special, but they are very functional. So you can see I got this guy here. He's, you know, 1-to-1 trade for pumpkins. This guy will give me diamond armor for 1. Another villager does the same thing with that, and he provides me with my golden carrots, which I'm currently stockpiling. This guy gives me a pickaxe, shovel, and an axe. Axe is a little more expensive. I thought about putting a weapon trader in here for that. And this guy can pick up ender pearls for 1 And then this guy provides me with maps. Although he's up to 2. It was 1 for 1. For some reason he wants 2 now. So maybe I haven't traded enough with him, or somehow he got hit and I was removing stuff. These guys are, you know, efficiency 4 for 1, breaking 2, unbreaking 3 for 8, chain for 1, riptide for 15, not bad. Here's mending for 1, infinity for 1, efficiency 5 for 30. Seems expensive, and subs touch for 1, but I can mass produce emeralds, so I'm not overly concerned about that. Go over to here, and I've got myself my little cactus farm. This is just a test run to see if it produces sufficient all my needs. This is my specific iron farm. It's a variation on somebody else's design. I think maybe the El Mango, or possibly Doc M from Hermitcraft. They had the idea of putting these guys on 3 of them on a fence post on either side of the zombies, so they can bounce a bit and they'll see them and then not see them, so they'll sleep at night. And I found it had all kinds of difficulties. It just didn't function. They lost their tracking. Sometimes after sleeping in their bed, they would pop out on top of one of the workstations instead of actually just on the block where they were supposed to be. And they didn't produce any golems. So I created this little tiny thing here, which as you can see as the sun's going down, they do sleep. There's a daylight sensor over there that'll slam that every once in a while, just long enough so they can all get in their beds and all produce iron. And I empty both this one and the other one at the same time. So you see this one produces substantially more iron a lot quicker. So it's very effective. Meets my needs. This is kind of another test run thing that hasn't exactly worked out. It's producing sugarcane. I probably need about 3 more of those to create any significant amount of sugarcane. I know I could do it the zero-tick farm, but I'm not a fan of those. I've got these farms going here. These are all half slabs, so it's, as you can see, I should have 0 mobs spawning in here. The walls up there should prevent anything coming up and over. Got the pumpkin farms here, and then my melons. Eventually I'm going to box all this in. And this, of course, is just a mini smelter. Very simple design. Obviously, items to be smelted, fuel. Not that I can remember, but noted them just for the note's sake. I got some horses in here. I'm not sure why. They were here when I first started building the wall, and I never got around to removing them. And then, of course, my central tower. With a water elevator up. And this is obviously my storage room. Haven't fully decked it out yet. Got a lot of things still to put in here. Thought about putting another water column up to the higher levels, but at the moment I'm finding this sufficient. And this is my bedroom, and it's got a little observation deck out here, so I can come out and see how things are going. And then, of course, I've got the landing platform way up. This room here, I'm debating on making it a combination room, like put in what's it called, potion stations, and make a potion brewing stage room there, building it up. So you can see from up here the red brick roads are going out to these guys. I haven't done red brick roads to there, to there, and then he's got one, he's got one. So eventually you can see the red brick roads are going to those gray squares. I'm going to put towers on all those, and in fact that's what I got this stuff for. They're going to be a combination of smooth stone and sand. And then up here in the air I'm actually going to be building a airship dock with, of course, an airship. Let me see. One downside of these things is if you're not lined up perfectly well, it doesn't let you down. Not an extremely problematic thing, but now we'll take a look at this little thing. So I wanted to build something kind of based off of what I saw in Sekiro, which is kind of a Japanese castle, a couple of buildings, I suppose, and then I've got water. And this water, it goes down, down, down. Slowly filling it with seaweed or kelp to get source blocks everywhere, but it's taking an eternity to do so. In the end, I'll have an infinite amount of this stuff, and I don't have to worry about breathing under here because I managed to put this fella up. So, gotta fix all those. They're still not source blocks. I've got a problem with this I need to fix. In fact, I'll do that now. I'm thinking of it. So the surface are all source blocks. So, but there's weird things happen for some reason. Going to have to respond to that. Give me a moment. Okay, I'm back. So eventually I'm going to finish. I'm using the sea lanterns here to melt everything, and eventually I'll dispose of all this water, or all this ice as water, and it'll be a nice waterfall. Right off here, I'm going to create a nice river going into there. So I've got some of the making started down there, and I'm thinking about adding a couple trees off the side here, but time will tell how that actually works. So I do occasionally get a mob that shows up. It's hard enough to kill. There we go. EXP sometimes has problems floating. As you can see, there's a lot of mobs in here. I could turn this into a mob farm, but I already have a nice mob farm. Hidden beyond the beyond. Got a couple farms actually. Let's see if I can just glide. I got lots of rockets. It's a little village I walled in there to test raids when they first came out. Unfortunately, raids were significantly broken, and I wound up getting an infinite raid spawn, which killed me and wiped out all of my equipment multiple times. But I built this little sucker here. Right now everything's grinding to a halt. The game does not enjoy all of the particle effects. I can't even turn around and look probably after without it. Not too bad. Although I'm going to get killed if I stay here. So. The Guardian Farm produces a fair amount of resources. I got a second ocean monument there I plan on doing something with in the future. And I have a standard mob farm right here. Going up. You land on a ladder. Nope. Well, that would have hurt. So I've got tons and tons of stuff just flowing into this. I've taken out a whole bunch of stuff. I think that's why there's a lot of emptiness in the taglines. Don't even have to AFK, just show up here. It's almost all full. The result is, well, bones, arrows, something like a wazoo, string, extra stuff, and I've got some extra junk over here. All in all, I think I'm doing pretty good. I've got a small mine where I gather some raw resources when I mandatorily need it. But right now, I'm going to go over and start work on those towers. I got a few ideas for them. So there's my AFK room, but I don't use it too much. And I still have a lot of plans, a lot of things I want to do with this world. Right now, that was my original villager breeder for my original iron farm, which is no longer good. And that was a test area before I built my Subnautica base. And I carved a pathway that runs from here all the way out to here, and then all the way back to the start of my front door, my little starter village. So I may at some point connect it either as a rail, or maybe I'll just leave it as a pathway. But for now, I'm going to have to start building up those towers. I'm going to do a front tower first, because it's going to be kind of the model for all of them. So, oops. First here. I'm not sure how wide I'll make this path. I might make it 3 wide, or I might go all the way to 5 wide. 2 wide's an option just because the gates on the village are double, but 3 makes more sense. And I cut across the ravine here. Do something with. There's a lot of ravines in this game. Some of the updates I really love, and some of them I'm not so fond of. For mining, the ravines are really a big issue, especially when they hit you underwater. So I go down to Y11, I dig a straight line, and I cut across 3 different underwater ravines, which is very problematic, shall we say. I have some lanterns up there too. So I need to get lanterns, I need to get other blocks, and then I'm going to start building that front tower up there and see what it ends up looking like. So I'm not 100% set on how I want it to look yet. So I want you guys. I think I'm going to mix these guys up. You. I may use glass. I don't have any here. They're over in my other base still. I've got 3 bases, so a lot of my supplies are split into 3 different locations, which makes things kind of problematic, to say the least. So now the big question is, do I build the wall up inside and then frame the outside? So that's... Yeah. Definitely an option. I think the internal wall should be smooth stone. Leave a 3-wide door for now. I got a bed down here, so I don't have to run all the way up there every time. So we'll see how it looks and make multiple changes based on my taste, my overall impression of how it's going to work. So the wall itself is going to end up being this. And then for framing, I think what I'll do is I'll have maybe 2 wide here. Let's get 2 wide, and then 1 corner. So this would be like this. So that's how that would work, and then I think I would do frame the door. Here, 2 wide, 2 space, 2 wide. Nope, that's wrong. That's right. 1, 2. So, just take all these out anyways, because I'm going to replace them. Right where I want to go zoom. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll throw you back. And we shall see how this all looks once it gets a little bigger. What I said I was going to do one on either side of the door. Okay, so I'm going to run this up first and then we'll see. So, may change that out to put an actual functional door in here, but for now, this will have to suffice. Hopefully this will end up looking very, very nice. If not, I'll tear it down and redo it. I do have some glass. I might need some windows in here at some point, but height-wise, these towers were supposed to go over the wall by 8 to 10 blocks, according to my original idea. I have to take you out. There we go. So make sure you do that. I still have to repeat this on the other side. Actually, I don't even have to go all the way up to do that. I can take you down and start cutting across, because of course I'm going to have a doorway at most that tall. So, probably don't have enough to complete this, but some of this is just here to conceal the redstone, and some of it's here to look pretty. And once I knock out some space for windows, hopefully things will start to look better. Building is always a long, slow process, especially when you're trying to build something large. Resource gathering always is going to take a lot of time and effort, but that's why I like Minecraft. It's a slow game, which means I don't have to be mad button crashing. I don't have to worry about other players. I can go however fast or however slow I want, take as much time, tear down and rebuild as often as needed. Believe me, that Subnautica style base over there took a long time to get to look the way I wanted it. Okay, so now we go up and above the wall. I might not be able to do what I think I'm doing. So this tower might have to get clipped at the top of the wall. Yeah, that redstone. I can't hide the redstone, which means I can't bring that column up without blocking this one off, which means you have to be here, which is fine. I can do that, but I can't put a block here, in fact, which means I have to, yeah, you've got to go. So I can bring you up. I just need to bring the inside over a bit. I think what I'll end up doing is cutting it across right here. So I need to take you out because you're no longer going to work. And go to the right here. Perfect. So what I'm going to have to do now is run this all the way across. So see how this looks like from both sides before I go too far into it. It's going to be night anyways. So. And I still haven't decided how I'm capping the tower. I'm thinking about going for like a pyramid style roof. And then use some campfires for smokestacks. And make these look like they're chimneys of a sort. Oops. Let's fly on up to my bedroom. Oh. Almost slid right off the end. Oops. There's my front door. So that's not terrible. Like I said, once I throw some glass in there, that'll look a little better. I do need to go a little taller and then cap it. So, how do I want to cap it? It's a shame you can't cut concrete. Concrete stairs would make a nice cap for that, but barring that, dark prismarine, there's stone, granite. Granite might work, although nether brick might work better. I mean, I could just cap it with stone, but to me that feels like... Now, polished diorite or quartz would also work good. I don't have a lot of that. Quartz I can manufacture or purchase from my guys. Yeah. I'm gonna go buy more quartz and trade it and see if I can. Oh, I should. Before I go down, make sure I've got enough. And I don't. So, should get me closer. Trade with my stone cutter and pick up some quartz. Those little farmers. Stone cutter. Yeah, no, I don't want bricks, although I could. That's an idea to brick it up, but I think I want blocks of bricks. So here, there's a handful there. Hopefully he'll reset quickly. Just reset. Not a huge amount, but actually, do I need to cook it to get the smooth quartz stairs, or can I just do that with stone cutting? So yeah, so this just gets me quartz stairs. So I want to get the smooth quartz stairs. I need to put you into another. That's an idea. I think you can do anything with the columns. Let's see if he's reset again. Sometimes these guys reset multiple times in a day. And he did. So grab some of these too, because I got some ideas for the pillars, but I'm wondering if the pillars can be, no, can't do anything with the pillars except pillar. So, I'm going to throw these guys in the smelter. Probably 2 rockets to dump them all off. And we're going to wait for them to start filling in. Not exactly a super smelter, but it's definitely faster than using a single smelter. And I have time. I have an infinite amount of time. That's all of them. We'll make these into stairs. 30 is not enough, but at least it's a start. I should get a few more of these guys since I can mass produce emeralds. So, smooth quartz stairs. I'm getting the XP. Sometimes it's fixing my okay. So I'll dump the stuff that I'm not using. Okay. I'll put the block of quartz there. I can always. I should throw my emerald box back in my ender chest, just in case if the worst happens, losing that many emeralds would be a serious issue. I'm going to bring that down quite a ways. Or drop a roof, and I'm not sure which yet. But for now, let's see what this looks like. I wonder if I took that out and maybe that. Because my pistons are sitting there, so you wouldn't see it from the ground. If I match them to here, I don't know. Decisions. As I said, I was going to go way higher with this, but looking at it now, I don't want them to dwarf the wall. Actually, I didn't bust that yet. So yeah, so imagine 8 of those towers. I'm going to have them capped. So each of these towers is getting capped. Oh, so the pyramid cap might be kind of meh. And yet it works, but to have 8 of them at that height with let's put a lid on it and see what it looks like, I guess. I'll use the cyan and shrink and bring it up a couple levels. So if I alternate, of course, I'll get some and then have a small cap on top. So sign, get rid of those down here. And this is and then get the smoke coming out the top maybe, or could put a sea lantern there. Gonna have to have some carpeting or light on this to prevent it from spawning. Let's go see. First I gotta pick up the blocks that don't. I know. I didn't break them. Definitely needs something lighting up there. And as I said, bring that wall down maybe. Let's try that. Do love scaffolding. They're the single best inventions in this game, in my opinion. There's a poor spider trying to get at me. Not gonna happen. Can't get over that wall. You could layer this, like put a floor in there, and one can just assume there's something above. I'll go up and take a look at things. Hello. So quick peek at it. That's not too bad. Again, throwing some light on it wouldn't hurt. Let's sleep and go see what it looks like on the other side during the day. Again, having 8 of these around here, there's a specific reason why it's done like this. Yeah, that's not very convenient. We get some lighting. Actually, I'm going to go over. I'll fly out anyways. Because I want to pick up my minerals. So I've got lots and lots of emeralds. I'm going to throw a bunch of these in that. Under reloading. I've got a bunch of ceiling tombstone here, I believe. So I'll take some around with me. Temp furnace I have sitting there for other things. There's so much going on, so many different bases. Yeah, I think that'll work for now. Once I get the ideally, I'd love to have beacons coming out of them, but I have yet to get any wither skeleton skulls. Once I get some wither skulls, get a couple beacons, I can line this thing with beacons, and I think that would look pretty cool. Big question is, how low do I want to bring this? Do I want to bring it down even with the outside? It makes sense. So they're both the same. I could raise this floor up and then have the exit where it drops down. Do the same thing over here, raise this up and push the step down all the way out to there. It probably would make much more sense. And having a door here. That's what you can do with scaffolding. Not that you can't do that with all the other blocks, it's just, it works very well with scaffolding. So, start off by using you guys to define this a little better. And jump up and get you guys lit up. And then what I want. If I should just double up on the cylinders. Cylinder. Should I do this too? How much do I want to do it like I you guys so I can do it with water? So, should have done it beforehand. It's going to be off of you and off of you. So just off these two corners. So, oh no, I can't drop water down there because of my redstone sugar. I'm gonna have to go make me. Just need a little bit of water. And you guys. Okay, I'm going to try and land up there. Because yeah, I think the framing will work nicely. On the outside. So I think it's you, and you. 1, 2, 3. This is just. Okay, and then we'll see how that works. Yeah. Again, if I go any taller, then it interferes with the center, and it looks like the wall's just completely dwarfed. At this height, however, it makes sense to me. Let's see. I'll go and deposit the stuff in my storage and see what we can see. Okay. Smelter, I don't think so. So I guess here we see at least this color. I do have white cement already here, white concrete. I always forget, is it concrete or cement? White concrete, I got black concrete here too, so it's something to go over, I guess. Okay. Almost night. I don't know. Doesn't look bad, but am I going to look good with 8 of these things? I think it'll work. These ones are going to be odd because they're going to be a bit bulkier because of being built on an angle. Although technically I think they have the exact same dimensions, so yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. The framing should work on that exactly the same. I'm obviously going to have to smelt a lot more smooth stone. Smooth stone bricks, I should say. Ah, hello, hello. How are we doing, Alexis? I'm going to pop it up. You want to tour my worlds? There's quite a lot of delay between me and YouTube, so bear with me. I'm not even sure if you can hear me too well. I'll give you a quick tour. So this is kind of the end of the road. And I'll explain what all it is in a second. Zip over to where it all began. So I actually, my original spawn when I started this world was way up north in ice biome. No problem. So I came looking for a village, and I wandered and wandered, and this is where I wound up. So I built this village here. I didn't build the village, I found the village. I built a wall around it, and I built this ridiculous floating base up here with a little floating center there. And I guess I can do this from the air better. Come on, fly, fly. There we go. Whoops, that was a short flight. There. So, that's my original village breeder. It's just a tiny little thing. Still has some villagers in it. My original iron farm, which no longer functions, but still has villagers trapped in it. And then I went old school manual farms. I even built an old villager trading hall here, which doesn't work, and then I experimented. That was my blueprint for building a Subnautica style base. So then I decided I'd go ahead and build the base. So actually, before I built the base, I built a Guardian farm. Now this is going to kill my frames, but this is a Guardian farm. You can see the Guardians just popping up in there. And then they slide down, and I go down through there to collect them. But after I built that and collected all the materials I required, I went and assembled this. This is my Subnautica themed base. So I get into it without crashing completely. Oh, come on, you. It always does this. You're kidding, right? Just let me land without crashing. So from above, let's see. In the game, I don't know if you've played Subnautica or if I just mentioned it to you, but in Subnautica you have these multi-purpose rooms, which are large round rooms, hallways you can craft. You can craft foundations, which are large gray platforms like that. You can put windows in there. That was my bedroom. And if I take the ladders, because you only build with ladders in Subnautica, I have a hatch here. This is kind of a mini storage room with some crafting. I had to extend the storage because I didn't have room. Threw some furnaces in the floor there. I've got a aquarium in here, which for some odd reason, all of the fish congregate in this corner. There's probably a dozen exotic fish all in that corner because they just like the corner. And then around here, I've got my world map, which I'm still working on. Definitely need to expand it. You can see the little dot, that's where I am. My spawn was actually way up here. You see the icebergs here? I originally started way out here, basically right on the edge of this block. And then I thought I was going south, but I was actually heading west. And I wound up in the little island, or little village here. And then I went up to build the base here and here and here. I've got a broken ice farm I'm trying to build here. And then I'm going to go over here eventually and expand the map all the way around the top. The bottom splits off into 2 new continents, so I'm probably not going to explore them anytime soon. But I want to get that northern area done because I know there's a terracotta biome way up north, which I found and only gathered a little bit of terracotta from. So then you go down here, and I've got another room there, my observation room, which supposedly in Subnautica it's a perfect sphere. This is as close as I could get to a sphere. And then I got my moon pool. The moon pool in Subnautica is where you launch underwater vehicles. So it's completely underwater here. Just cool. And I've got myself a, what do you call it? This thing, which means I can breathe underwater. I've got one by my other farm and got a couple of them. But after I built that, I decided I wanted to make something a little more large-scale base. So I came over here and I started up an iron farm that would actually work in 1.14 and a village breeder. So I knew villagers were obviously going to be important with being the big villager update. So I went in and I threw in, you can see here, there's a little bit of lava, villagers. I threw all the rails down because the iron golems kept spawning outside of there. But it wasn't really meant to be a iron farm. It was just designed for villagers. That was kind of a bonus. You can see every once in a while, I still get iron golems spawning down there. But I used the rails to move the villagers around. It does still produce some iron. Not a huge quantity, but it works. This is a failed test. I was trying to actually make a mushroom farm here, but even at night, I get light in here with no light sources. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. It's a bug. So then I came over and I started building this area. Now what I did first is I set up a huge wall. I cleared a giant circular patch of ground. And I'm going at it from the ground for a reason. I don't want to do an aerial view just yet. But you can see this wall. That's a gigantic circle that I had to level. There was all kinds of trees and grass here and everything. I gotta scroll chat down so I can see. There we go. Yeah, I've seen your iron farm. So this is my door. I love my front door. So close it. I like how that works. So if you come in here, I leveled this entire area and I did half slabs throughout the whole thing. And then I built myself a couple of villager trading halls. So I've got a bunch of villagers in there and a bunch of villagers in here. And I didn't need the iron doors. They're perfectly safe here, but I like them. And so I come in here and now I turned these guys into zombies and then cured them. So now I get mending for 1 emerald in 1 book. I get silk touch for 1 emerald, 1 book. Efficiency for 30. Infinity for 1. This guy's got unbreaking for 9. I can go over to here. And these lovely villagers give me things such as, ooh, how about a diamond pickaxe for 1 emerald? Full set of armor for basically 1 emerald apiece. 9 for this one. I can live with that. I get maps for 2 from him. This guy I can just, he's the last one I made with 1 pumpkin per emerald, so I can cash in on that pretty quickly. So I never need to worry about those things ever again. This is a really basic cactus farm I made just as a test model. Eventually I'm going to enclose this area, and it does work very well. Slow, but there's no effort involved. And this is my iron farm. So originally I was following the plan of I think either Il Magno or Doc M77 from Hermitcraft. And the idea was you put these guys in a little bubble of water on top of a fence post with the 3 beds. You can see the 3 bed configuration and workstations are behind it around. And there's a zombie over there. And the idea was during the day they'd be afraid of him and generate golems, and at night they would sleep because they're bobbing in the water and can't always see him. Unfortunately, there was some pathing issues and it didn't work for me. So I threw up this crude construct here, and since then I put a daylight timer on that too. So at night that actually will close. You can see the pistons there and hide him. So they will sleep at night for a little bit. And it's producing a good amount of iron. Not a crazy amount, but more than enough for what I need. We've got kitty cats spawning all over. The cats walk right through this or under it. I'm not sure which. This is kind of a failed experiment. It works, but it doesn't produce it very much. If I had 4 of these blocks, it would probably work better, so I might end up producing more of them. These are my potato and carrot farms, and they work very well. I don't have to do a thing. All I have to do is empty out the carrots and the potatoes when they get too full. So it's a real simple design. I've seen other people do this, and they build it on an angle, and they have extremely efficient positioning in that because villagers don't wander as far as they used to. But this guy still wanders, and you can see everywhere he's gone. So, I mean, you could make it ultra efficient, but yeah. And so what he does is I've got the villager there, and if I go down here, you can see the villager's a little lower. Whoops, jumped too far. So yeah, the villager's a little lower. He's on a half slab there. So the farmer, when he's full, tries to throw him stuff. It goes into the hopper minecart, which goes into hoppers, which fills the chests. And then this is your classic automated pumpkin and melon farm. Very simple to build. Doesn't produce massive quantities, but it, again, produces more than enough for me to funnel stuff into my villagers, and then we've got your smelter here. Again, real simple design. I'm going to tear this down and double it, so instead of 8, I'm going to have 2 rows of 16. But with the minecart, all I do is I put items I want to smelt into there, hit the switch, it goes up, it fills all of there, and then comes back here. And if I need to add fuel to it, I'm currently using dried kelp blocks. On my starter base, which I don't think I showed, I actually have a kelp farm, which is really simple. And I got one more build I should show off before I... Well, actually, I have 2 more builds I should show. Take a quick nap. Oh yeah, this is my, I don't know if I showed you, this central area, this is my storage area. So I have lots and lots and lots of chests here. It's not the most convenient because you got to go up the stairs, but it'll hold a very large quantity of stuff. And then this is my sleeping quarters with a few things around, just so you get an idea of how much my villager trading has been. So, yeah, I can go overboard with a lot of that. The shulker boxes are a wonderful addition to the game. I think this would be a ridiculous game without them. Now, up here, I'm actually planning on doing a potion brewing room. And then on the very top is a airship dock, where I'm actually going to build a fantasy-style airship out here. I've got a cat here. Hey, kitty. My cat here is to protect me from phantoms. But I've got another really nice build I'm working on over here. I built up this mountain, so originally it was just this, and I added all that, and then I started putting on this stuff. And if you've played Sekiro, or Sekiro, however you want to pronounce it, it'll look a bit familiar. So it was inspired by Sekiro, and the idea is I'm slowly using sea lanterns to melt this ice to fill in that entire area. So if I dive in, you can see it goes all the way down, and down, and down, and down. This entire area is just one gigantic hollow, and I filled it with water from up there, but I'm using kelp to make source blocks out of it all. So eventually I'll be able to have this all as source blocks, and I can farm all that kelp and do some things. So, oh yeah, and that's going to be a waterfall going into a river down the side here eventually. And out here, I forgot to show you my mob farm. The mob farm I made is extremely simplistic, but super efficient. Works wonderfully for me. My computer is kind of low grade. It's old, basically. When I first built this computer, it was amazing and it worked fantastic, but that was 7-8 years ago now. So past this farm, I have a traditional mob farm. My traditional mob farm is really, really good, I think. It's extremely simplistic. There it is. So I built it out over the ocean, so I didn't have to worry about lighting up a million things and tunneling and caving and all that stuff. And I'll take you up to the top and show you how it works. All worlds are the same size now, it's just how much I've explored of it, but yeah, my starting continent is just crazy, crazy big. 1 second, get a Discord message. I've only played in this world for a few months, I'd say. I've probably been playing on here for just a few months. Well, yeah, I guess since the beginning of the year, so I guess almost 8 months now. But the way it works, these platforms each have a uh, dispenser facing upwards with a water bucket in it, and above that, with a 1 block gap, a observer facing down. And the way it works is when this clock goes off, it sets up a dropper up here with nothing in it, which just by activating it activates a observer, which activates water into the first one. And when that one activates, it activates the observer, which sends a redstone signal through the air into the dispenser below, and it chains down, producing all this water. And then I've just got that water trough there, which drops them down into the little kill platform down below. And all this clock is extremely simple, just a whole bunch of these guys lined up. You can hear it. When this guy goes off, it just sets off all the rest, and it drops all the water down. I think it's kind of cool. Okay, shift over a little bit. Oh, no, no, don't want to fall. But yeah. Nope. So you can see the platforms. They're just 8 by 8, I guess. Oh, 16 by 60. But yeah, that's my world. Oh, I did a failed attempt down in the bottom of the ocean over here to make a trident farm. Where is it? There it is, that little square there. Never got a single drowned. For some reason, it just didn't work. Yeah, so right now what I'm doing is with my industrial complex, I guess you could call it, I'm building towers up, and I want to make a design that looks very, very familiar to veteran gamers, but is still kind of uniquely my own. So if I get back to it, I'll explain exactly what it is and see. I'm sure you figured it out. Okay. Burning through rockets, but again, I've got those farms and they produce near infinite amounts of gunpowder. I've got more than enough paper. So if you look at this from the air now, I'm going to go way high so I can glide down. You can see I've got that tower there. I'm building 7 more, so there's going to be 8 towers set up all around here. I'll just land, I guess. So once those towers are all set up, this is going to be kind of my tribute to Final Fantasy VII and Midgard. So yeah, that's the tower. That style is going to be on the 8 towers. I was going to put campfires in there to produce smoke and have them set up all around to make it look more industrial, but yeah, I've decided against that for now. It's kind of going more modern look, but yeah, so eventually I'm going to build up 7 more of those towers. I'm going to finish boxing in all of my little farms, and then I got to build my airship floating in the sky up here. I got to finish my castle build, and then I don't know what I'm going to do. I do have a pathway. I've kind of started to connect this to my other location. Oh, that's what I was going to do too. So as I'm working on this, I've carved a path through here. You can see it's coming out here. That pathway actually goes straight through that mountain and all the way back to my starter village. And then what I'd like to do is out here, I'm going to be building my own modern house. So it'll have garage and everything, and should be enough room to do it. It's not going to be like a mansion. It's just going to be a nice house, and we'll see how it looks. I still don't know even how I want to lay it out just yet, but this area here will be for it. It's got a nice ocean view here. I also want to make a racetrack. I want to make an ice racetrack, which I think will be completely ridiculous. But yeah, that's essentially my world in a nutshell. So much still to do. But I'm happy with what I've accomplished. Yeah. So I'm probably going to go something similar to this look here, the dark glass with the light concrete. I'll probably end up going with the dark gray concrete as well as the white to give it some accent. I know how I want to have it laid out. I kind of wish I could show you my PS3 world because that's where I originally built it. Yeah, and the trading hall cells are real simple. I give them 2 blocks. They only need 1. Exactly like the one Ren is building. I was so inspired by his. His looks amazing, and I think that would be crazy fun. So I want to build something just like his. Let's see if can I fly here? I'm never good at jumping and flying. There we go. So we'll go take a look at my map and show you where I... Just I didn't die. So. Oh yeah, and these furnaces here, powered by lava. Right, and I filled a whole bunch of buckets of lava, so if I want to, I can take all that lava and throw it in my other smelter and have just lava buckets for doing it. But because of the size of this world, so you get an idea now, that mob farm I showed you was right about here where the crosshairs are, right? The Guardian farm's right here. So I mean, I've only really dealt with this little area here of all of this. So yeah, the world is huge, and I've explored much more than I should have because I started this world prior to 1.14. I started it just a month maybe before 1.14 went live. So I transferred from PS3 to PC when they were doing they were demoing what 1.14 was going to look like, and I built this and explored this whole area, and then 1.14 dropped, and I went, oh, I guess I shouldn't have explored because now I don't have any of the new villages or any of the new bamboo or anything I want. So I had to explore. So you can see up here, this is jungle. I was lucky enough that there's some bamboo that spawned in the area above this that I hadn't explored. So I replanted bamboo throughout the jungle there. And there's a village, I think way to the south, that I was able to find that had new villagers and the new setup. And I got bells from it. I stole the bells from it before I knew that you could get them from villager trading. Because my old villager hall that in my starting village there, it doesn't work anymore because there's none of the villagers there have access to workstations. So I could put some workstations in and make it functional again, but I figured I'm going to build a whole new base anyways, so that's what I did. I went and built a brand new base. So yeah, so the racetrack, what I'll probably end up doing, because I've got so much desert, I thought the idea of putting it in the desert is a pretty cool idea. So I know there's some villages down here, and I already have that house there, so I could go level out this area here of the desert and build it here, or I could go up north and build it here. Those are the 2 locations I'm currently tempted with. I'm going to have to make a new ice farm way out here, though. And it looks like it's a long way off, and it is. It's a very long way off. Oh, I didn't show you my nether builds. That's what I can do. Don't run away yet. I'm going to sleep and then I'm going to go visit the nether. I raided a whole bunch of end cities and got very, very, very lucky. I'll show you my loot. Well, some of my loot. Yeah, end city raids are a must in this game now. If you don't have an elytra, it takes you forever to get anywhere. On my PS3 world, I actually have 100. Oh, there's from my raid farms. In my end city, I had all the shocker boxes. And this is my backup armor set. A little OP, a little bit. And I've got a bunch of extra of these, and then I've got some extra stuff here just for things. I also had some luck here. These guys are just, again, worst case scenario. I've got some backup sets. And now I've got the villager. This is all before I got the villagers trading, so I could get infinite quantities, and then all I have to do is throw on all these mending books and throw on some breaking and such. Anyways, I'll go show you the end. Or actually, no, the nether. Nothing in the end. I haven't built in the end yet. I am planning on it. How's my elytra? Oh, my elytra's good. So yeah, in the nether, I haven't done very much. The only thing I built that's significant in the nether is the blaze farm. So, assuming I can remember where it is, because I haven't been there in a while. Apparently there were issues with blaze farms when 1.14 dropped with one of the updates that made the blaze target you even though you were outside of the, you couldn't be seen through blocks basically. So, yeah, I think it's this way from the blaze farm. Yes. So I need to build another hub. Right now I just got some missing glass. And I'm going to make this a glass pathway. So protected from the evils of the nether. Down here. I'm a lot less concerned now than I used to be. When I first started playing, oh, I was just terrified to come into here. I thought I was going to die at every step. You see that big old square there? There's actually another blaze spawner up. I think, where was it? I think it was up here. Oh no, it was right there. Right there. So I could have done a double blaze, but I got to be careful too. I fell down once and almost died here. But yeah, so inside that, which you seem to have a lot of pigment on, is my blaze farm. So what I do is I come in here. I have to stand over here for some reason. You can hear them. There's all the pistons. It's got a inverted pyramid. So all of the blaze, when they spawn, they land on the sides and get piston pushed into the metal, and they slowly drop down and down and down and down. When they finally get to the middle, they come down here and they just collect all the blaze rods. I could put a hopper there, but I mean, I don't spend much time here, and usually it doesn't take long for me to get a whole stack. I'm going to leave that for now. Head on home. I got to replace this with actual stairs at some point. I hate that. I can hear them somewhere close. I just don't know where. Some extra glass I should use to fix the pathway, but I'm not going to go through there. This portal, when I first discovered this, I was going to use the portals to get to and from my base, but it's a long way from home. I discovered that, you know, moving through the portal takes me quite a ways from home. So I built a bed and everything, and I was thinking, oh, I could just, you know, travel by land or by boat because it's not that far. And I don't have my map on me. Yeah, get my map out. There's no map. Scared me for a second there. So yeah, so I figured, oh hey, it's not too far, and then I realized, well, actually, it's quite far. Come on. You can never fly when you want to. Hey, welcome, Cam. Happy to see you. Or do you want to be called Creamy? That's what we should do. Second, go this way. Oh, this is it. So yeah, so it's way be gone into the middle of the new place. Oh, that's what I was going to show you too. My kelp farm, because I like kelp. Oh, obviously that's a different farm. What are those called again? Chorus plants, chorus flowers. These are my original base farms, and I don't know why, but I suddenly have skeleton horses all over the place here. Oh yes. At one point, when 1.4 launched, I had 11 iron golems in this village. Just everywhere you look. They're slowly decreasing the number, but I even had one that spawned in here that just won't go away. There's my old iron farm that no longer functions. And down here is my flower farm and my fishing farm. This is my AFK fishing farm. Extremely simplistic to build. All you really need is a piece of redstone, the note block, the bucket of water, the hopper there, an iron door, and then two tripwire hooks with a string across. And then you just stand there and fish. And this is my simple flower farm. And then down here is my kelp farm. The kelp farm is really easy. Oh yeah, and this is where I used to get my villagers. And for some reason, I've caught a rabbit. Don't know what I'm doing with him yet. Haven't decided, but yeah. So I just walk in here, and then I just go. Kill them all. And then I float up and pick them all up. And thankfully, because of 1.4's, or actually I think it's happened with the ocean change, they float now. So it's so much easier to do a farm like this. I could set it up so there was like running water on the top that pushed them all to one side and that, but that gets complicated. I could set it up with flying machines to harvest them all, but again, that's complicated. I go simple. Oh yeah, and for wood too, I usually plant a row of trees here and then cut them down. These were the leftover saplings that I never got around to. This was a failed experiment with melon farms, or a cactus farm, I should say. Oh yeah, a couple other things. This is my garbage disposal. So what I do is down here, you can see I got lava, and I've got this. You turn it on, dispenses it into the lava. So I just throw garbage in there. A super simple farm for bone meal. So I just got a chest here. I throw in any seeds I get. They go through here, and out comes bone meal. Composter. Fun. Well, I was playing with farm animals for a bit. This is a manual. Oh, I forgot all about my castle. I forgot all about my castle. I've been playing this for so long, I didn't even remember I had a castle here. So this is my stone farm. I'll go show you the castle inside. Lag. But anyways, yeah, so I get smooth stone. When there's no lag, it goes much better. My snow farm, I just shovel that, and this is for making concrete. Oh yeah, and this is my pickle farm. All I do is stand here and smack that with bone meal. I get some lovely sea cucumbers or sea pickles. Okay. So this is the castle I was working on. This is actually one of the very first builds after I made my village. I came up with this idea. I may at some point return to it and finish it off. But as of now, I just feel like it's dated and ugly and would be sitting there with the ring halfway up and then going back up. I don't know if you've seen Deep Space Nine or remember what it looks like, but it was kind of cool. But yeah, so I was going to make this castle, and then I decided I had no idea why I was making this castle. So at some point in the future, I might come back to this. But as of now, it's done. So yeah, that's basically the entirety of my world currently. I have hopes for what I want to do, but I go real slow. It's one of the reasons why I love Minecraft, is I can do things at my own pace. There's no sense of urgency, there's no panic, no button mashing. You know, if I decide to stop something and start a new project, I can do so. I don't have any, you know, nagging sense of impending doom because I haven't finished this today. Part of the reason why I don't stream much too is because I'll often just do something very tiny and then call it a day, which is basically what I did today. Is I built that tower today, and I gave a nice big tour, and I'm going to call the stream here. Thank you very much for tuning in. It was a lot of fun. Maybe in a month or two I'll stream again. I tried streaming on Twitch, but apparently Twitch doesn't like me anymore. They won't let me stream if I don't use the two-tier authentication. And I'm not giving them my phone number, so there goes that. But yeah. So thank you very much for stopping by. I'm sure I'll see you both again next time you stream. Alexis, let me know. Well, I'll see it on Discord anyways, but yeah, I'll show up and chat. And like I said, if you ever want me to talk you through how to build any of those farms that I have, I'm more than happy to do so, although you can probably build them just by seeing them. They're not complicated. But that's my stream. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again.